Okay, so with what we just went through on planning, that's really a lot of stuff that you would do in the enterprise. And so this particular little section, enterprise wireless FACS, are the things that are very different, like things that you do in the enterprise that you just don't do someplace else. Now, I already described almost all of this, so let's get started. Independent wireless access points are not really used anymore. That's where I described you set up each access point independently. If you give them different wireless names or SSIDs, that you have to put in passphrases for all that stuff. If you name them the same, people can kind of roam around. Uh, but that's not really used anymore and shouldn't be used anymore. Spoken Hub infrastructure is what I was describing before, where you have basically an AP and it's all connected through some main wireless communications device. And so you have these antennas or access points that are out there, and then the controller itself, everything comes into that controller. And of course, that can be a problem because everything might bottleneck. So if your Wi-Fi is super, you know, loaded up, then this may not be what you want. If you were in an airport, I suppose an independent access point might be used because it's more spread out, right? So you'd have this is gate 24 access point, and this is gate whatever, and they're all these independent things because you don't need them tied in together. This infrastructure is more commonly used because you do want them tied in together. And then this is the new stuff. This is becoming much bigger. So while you do have devices plugged into the network, they all are smart and speak to each other. So uh, you don't have a controller that everything ties back into. What you have is all these little pods basically that know they're all on the same network. So you tell them all, hey, all you guys, even if you have 100 of them, all you little pods are all part of the same network. And then they can actually transmit information to each other wirelessly, or they can transmit it into the network independently. And mesh networking is where it's going. And so, like, if you want the most awesome home stuff, it's mesh networking. Costs you like $300. You end up with one base unit that is the one that's connected out, and then the mesh network is actually the little pods are talking to your equipment and then passing it along to the main unit. And so mesh networking is a distributed wireless network, and they tend to handle the load better. And these days it's a much more expensive. And then you have wireless bridges, and I've set a few of those up. This is one of the things I wanted to reintroduce as a lab because I have these two wireless bridges, and the bridges basically are only designed to speak to each other. So once they establish a connection, you don't have that. Oh, is it okay for me to send? Yeah, it's okay for you to send. Okay, I'm going to send now. Okay, should I shut up now? Yeah, you should shut up now. And they have all that communications taken out of it because you're basically saying you only talk to this physical device and it only talks to you, and it's only worried about the signal from each other. And then to make things even better, you can get these ones I was showing you. So we'll look at. See if this will pull it up. Directional antennas. So these are these flat panel antennas or something like this. It shoots the signal out in one single direction. So it's not interfering with as much as it would be, right? It's not ballooning out and going everywhere. It's just focusing that beam and shooting straight to the other side of it. And so lots of times in bridges, that's what they'll do. They'll shoot these antennas at each other, and you can actually put those bridges, 10, 20, 30 miles apart because you're focusing the beam where 2.4 usually only go a mile unobstructed. So if you're out in the middle of a field, you can cover it. But it'll actually go further if you make it directional, and instead of blowing the donut out, you just push that signal as tight of a radio beam as you can, and then focus the other end on it, and they're both doing the same thing. You can go quite far on that. That's used quite a bit. All right, well, that is it for enterprise wireless FACS, and I will go ahead and kill that here, and I'll do wireless security in a separate little video.